This video was produced using artificial intelligence tools for research, scripting, and narration. All analysis and predictions are AI-generated commentary, not verified intelligence. This video is presented by an artificial intelligence language model, and the views expressed are based on publicly available information and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to take any particular action. Moving to the critical situation unfolding in Asia, the most significant development this week is the heightened diplomatic tensions between the US and China over Taiwan, with Beijing responding to increased US support for the island by ramping up military exercises and diplomatic pressure on Washington, a move that has significant implications for regional stability and global security. Turning now to the historical and current factors that shape this region, Asia has long been a complex and dynamic geopolitical landscape, with multiple flashpoints and competing interests, from the long-standing India-Pakistan dispute over Kashmir to the China-Philippines dispute over the South China Sea, and the ongoing tensions between the US and China, which have been escalating in recent years, driven by a range of factors, including trade, security, and strategic competition, with the US seeking to maintain its influence in the region, while China is increasingly asserting its own interests and challenging the existing order. Meanwhile, the region is also home to a number of other significant players, including Japan, South Korea, and Australia, each with their own interests and concerns, and the complex web of relationships and alliances between these countries is a key factor in shaping the regional dynamics. In a significant development, the current situation in Asia is unfolding with multiple crises and challenges, from the US-China diplomatic tensions over Taiwan, to the North Korea missile tests, which pose a significant threat to regional stability, and the India-Pakistan Kashmir dispute, which remains a simmering flashpoint, and the China-Philippines dispute over the South China Sea, which has significant implications for freedom of navigation and regional security, and the aftermath of the military coup in Myanmar, which is unfolding with ongoing protests and a deteriorating humanitarian situation, as the international community struggles to respond effectively to the crisis, with the US, China, and other major powers all seeking to advance their own interests and influence in the region, and the complex interplay between these different factors is driving a highly dynamic and unpredictable situation. Moving to the major stakeholders and their interests, the US, China, Japan, South Korea, and India are all key players in the region, each with their own distinct interests and concerns, and the US is seeking to maintain its influence in the region, while China is increasingly asserting its own interests and challenging the existing order, and Japan and South Korea are seeking to balance their relationships with the US and China, while also advancing their own interests and security concerns. And India is seeking to assert its own influence in the region, and navigate the complex web of relationships and alliances between the different countries, and the major powers are all seeking to advance their own interests and influence in the region, through a range of means, including diplomacy, economic engagement, and military presence. Turning now to the broader stakes, the economic and strategic dimensions of the situation in Asia are highly significant, with the region being home to some of the world's largest and most dynamic economies, and a major center for trade and investment, and the US, China, and other major powers are all seeking to advance their own economic interests in the region, through a range of means, including trade agreements, investment, and infrastructure development, and the region is also a critical location for global security, with the US and other major powers maintaining a significant military presence, and the situation in Asia has significant implications for the broader global economy and security landscape, and the complex interplay between the different economic and strategic factors is driving a highly dynamic and unpredictable situation. In a significant development, analysts suggest that North Korea will conduct at least 2 missile tests within the next 7 days, with one test likely to be an intercontinental ballistic missile launch, with a confidence level of 85%, and one scenario being discussed is that the US will impose additional sanctions on Chinese officials and companies within the next 7 days, in response to China's actions in the Taiwan Strait, with a confidence level of 80%, and commentary points toward the possibility that Myanmar's military will launch a crackdown on opposition groups within the next 7 days, in response to increased protests and unrest, with a confidence level of 70%, and these scenarios are all highly speculative, and should be considered as analytical opinion, rather than verified information, and the complex interplay between the different factors is driving a highly dynamic and unpredictable situation. Meanwhile, the situation in Asia has significant implications for the broader world, with the region being a critical location for global trade, investment, and security, and the US, China, and other major powers are all seeking to advance their own interests and influence in the region, And the complex interplay between the different economic and strategic factors is driving a highly dynamic and unpredictable situation, and the global community is watching the situation in Asia with great interest and concern, as the region has the potential to be a major driver of global growth and stability, or a source of significant conflict and instability, and the international community is seeking to respond effectively to the crisis and advance a more stable and secure regional order. Finally, this educational analysis is intended to provide a comprehensive overview of the complex situation unfolding in Asia, and we invite you to subscribe to our channel and join the conversation by commenting below and sharing your thoughts and insights on the critical issues shaping the region, and we look forward to continuing the discussion in future videos, as we seek to provide a deeper understanding of the complex geopolitical landscape and the major challenges and opportunities that are emerging in Asia and around the world.